Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Torgo Entertainment YouTube channel. Torgo here. Welcome back to another gig log, and welcome back to another wedding.
On top of all that, it costs $1,000 a week to go to Camp Mohawk. The question is it worth $1,000 a week?
It sure is.
It's funny how these things time out. That last wedding had one of the larger setups I've had this year. For whatever reason, the YouTube algorithm really picked up on it. It has more views than any other gig log I've made. 2,000 views for a video of mine, to me, is a lot. But we keep on trucking. We'll see if this happens as well. And today we go to Elmira, New York to celebrate the wedding of Eli and Megan. I've known Eli for about 20 years now. We were in Boy Scouts together. In fact, one of the first times we actually met was at Boy Scout camp, Camp Brûlée, in 2002. Camp Brûlée is in northern Pennsylvania. I worked there for 6 years afterwards. And in fact, I owe a lot of my DJ career to him. When I first started doing team trivia in 2011, he and our mutual friend Andrew, who's gonna be one of the groomsmen today, they formed their own team, Sovereign Panda, and they were one of the very first teams at my very first trivia. And I remember driving them in my mom's 2000 Malibu with a little bit of stuff stored in the trunk, and that's how this DJ career began over 10 years ago. So when it came time for him to get married, he knew where to turn. Despite all that, and despite how long I've been in this area, we head to a venue that's new for me for DJing. We head to Tanglewood Nature Center. Let's go to the map and show you where that is. It's 20 minutes away. I've been there so many times. And the reason why I've been there so many times is my Eagle Scout project is actually there and still standing. I don't know if this has changed. I've been out of the Scouts game for quite some time now. But in order to get the Eagle Scout rank back when I was active in high school, you had to complete an Eagle Scout project, something that benefited the community. You had to lead the project, you had to fundraise to get the materials, you had to actually do the thing. And Tanglewood has a lot of Eagle Scout projects there. So I went there and they said that they really wanted a boardwalk around this vernal ponds that they were constructing as one of their focal points near the entrance. So it took about 6 months, I made it, and it's still standing. You can tell it's been weathered, you can tell that snow and rain and the elements have hit it, but it's 16 years old and it's stistill kicking. Here's a pro tip for those of you who actually like doing that kind of stuff. You have to make sure that your posts go below the frost line, which is about 6 feet deep when I built that. This wedding setup is not going to be that impressive because it's one of the smaller setups I've done all year. We're doing just reception, no dance floor lights, and the reason for that is because the wedding is 3 to 8. It's relatively early, and the kind of music that they want to hear doesn't really lend itself to dancing all that much. A lot of emo, for lack of a better term. Some harder-edged rock stuff. They're not huge dancers, at least he isn't. I think her side might be a little bit. But I've mentioned this before. What equipment you use ultimately doesn't matter. What you need to do is provide your top level performance regardless. Phil is joining me on this one. We're actually gonna get to this place super early. We're gonna get there at 11. It's about 9:30 a.m. right now. It's gonna take 20 minutes to drive there. But the reason we're getting there so early, it's not gonna take us 3 hours to set up, but I wanna get it done and out of the way. And the ceremony is on site, but they don't need us there. In fact, it's actually outside. Just waiting for Phil to show up, and I can't help but take a look up and notice that the weather's not great. Good thing we're inside, but remember, they have an outdoor ceremony, so I'm wondering if they're gonna move it inside where we are. I guess we'll find out. And I do not want to be setting anything up during the ceremony. I don't care if it's in a different location, I just think that that looks really bad if you hear clanking and clinging when there's a ceremony going on. Because it looks like you're there late. I know that you may have gotten there on time, but it still looks like you're not there when you're supposed to be. But I hope you're ready for this one. It won't be as high maintenance as some of the other ones, but hopefully it'll still be a good time. Let's go.
You didn't play the song I requested at the last wedding you DJ'd, even though the song is about breakups and divorce. But you still should have played it at the wedding.
And I'm angry.
And I'm angry. So here's a dead chipmunk.
I just happen to have these ready for all the parties I go to. Because, you know, being somebody who has dead chipmunks at the ready, I'm invited to a lot of parties.
After I'm done here, I gotta go to Dunkin' Donuts because they didn't give me enough whipped cream on my coffee last week.
This is going to look very different compared to other videos because of what ended up happening. So look at this weather. It was awful. Ceremony moved inside, completely changed the setup for everything. Here's the Morel Lodge of Tanglewood, which is denoted by this orange star. And I'm already dressed up. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to film stuff way out of order of the norm. I'm actually all dressed up, ready to go. Let's cue that footage super quick. There we go. So the ceremony is not going to be outdoors anymore, obviously, because it was raining before and it's muddy, so they're having it indoors inside this tent, which is where we're supposed to be set up. So they have all the chairs and everything set up for ceremony. We're just kind of tucked away in the corner. Ceremony's at 1. We don't start reception until 3. They have a string quartet playing for everything prior to us. So we set up everything at 11 o'clock. And now we're just kind of waiting it out. We're going to film a little bit of the ceremony because we're here, you know, we might as well, you as a friend of mine. And the uplighting is not ours. It's coming from Hard Hit Productions. I've done a lot of stuff with them in the past. And the bride's father works for them. So if you see uplights, those are not mine. So they opened up this tent, which is where the ceremony is going to be. And they had some homemade wooden decorations on these like 8-foot planks. But the problem is now they have nothing to lean up on. So we're going to see how that plays out. But you'll see these set up after the ceremony. Let's go.
Simple Gifts is a song written and composed in 1848, generally attributed to Elder Joseph Brackett from the Alfred Shaker Village. So the first thing I want to point out is it was not Quaker and derivation. It comes from a sect known as Shakers. There are no Shakers on this planet anymore because they chose as a tenet of their faith to not procreate. So we just want to just clarify that. I'm sure that's not what you were thinking when you gave this. No. I just want to get that off the table.
I vow to always be there when there's more on your plate than you can stomach alone, in life and at dinner.
Friends Megan and Eli, by their promises made in the presence of all of us, have made vows to each other. They've confirmed their promises by the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of rings. And I have the true honor of proclaiming that they are now married. Woo! And now they may have their first kiss.
So yeah, it's a little out of order, and now the chairs are gone. We were able to finish setting up, so let's show you what we did. We have the QSCK 10.2 tops, obviously. We have them both in front of the DJ setup in a skewed angle. We have just some standard speaker stands. Again, the uplighting is not ours, but I decided to take it upon myself to program them because I really did not like that all the lights were different colors. The father of the bride admittedly did not know how to program the light colors to make them all the same or make them all sound active, so I kind of took care of that. Dragon front board's facade, the UB12 hex bars, I changed this color, I didn't like it. We have my water supply, Phil's D&D book, essential for weddings. Earplugs, which I did end up using because the speaker was so close to me. The Audio-Technica MX50 headphones, my water bottle, the Pioneer DDJ SX2 DJ controller, the Samsung Odyssey Z notebook, with Virtual DJ Pro, SanDisk 2TB solid-state hard drive, the Logitech trackball mouse, the GoPro. I'm not sure how the GoPro footage is going to look, but I brought it just in case because I wasn't sure about angles for this thing. We have the PowerBar 65. We have my the SLXD microphone from Shure on a mic stand. There's the transmitter below my Panasonic 4K HD camcorder with the Rode shotgun mic. Down here we have my power supplies, both of them. Everything's hidden away behind the facade. We have my anti-fatigue mat. And the power is a little goofy. We have my 2 Allendale Defenders. The cart is just kind of off to the side, stowed away in case we needed to use it for anything. There's one, there's the other, there's my thumb, and I still got to get used to filming with this thing. And there is the power behind this bench, which was not going to move. So overall, not the most complicated setup, but I did figure out that it's just hex. So after I program these lights, here we go.
Kicking things off, make some noise for Bridesmaid Hannah Dunleavy, scored by groomsman Sam Halperin. Bridesmaid Mariah Sowers, scored by groomsman Andrew Sowers. Bridesmaid Storm Cadwallader, scored by groomsman Asa Cadwallader. Next up, I have what I like to call the VIPs for our couple. Very important people in their lives. Maid of honor Brittany Dobbs and best man Sam Parlett. And this would be the point where I would say everybody get on your feet, but already there. The reason why we have all gathered here today, and for the second time today, please, with as much noise as you possibly can, the bar closes. Give it up for your newlyweds, Eli and Megan Cadwallader.
really good.
Left the aisle to the string quartet version of Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. So let's play the real version. And that's going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. Before we go, I want to hear one more huge round of applause for your newlyweds, Eli and Meg for Mrs. Headwater. And we're back the morning after. And let me tell you what, I am so happy Phil and I got there at 11 o'clock. We actually got there at like 10:40 because Phil likes to be early for things, which is not a bad thing. But I'm so happy we got there early because the rain did end up washing out where they wanted to have ceremony, so they moved it inside. You probably saw the ceremony setup was really cramped and we had to kind of tuck away in the back, and we couldn't really finish setting up until after the ceremony because they repurposed all those chairs for the dinner area for reception. But everything ended up working out fine. It's nice to do weddings once in a while where you know a lot of people there. The atmosphere was definitely more jovial than usual, which is weird saying that about a wedding, but no, the spirits were quite high at this one. The timeline was a little weird, you know, photographer took them away for 45 minutes after dinner and after we had had dancing for a little bit, and that's when I decided to play some of the more harder edge rock stuff that they wanted, because not only that were we outside and it was definitely getting chilly, and some of the people were not dressed appropriately to be outside for that long, but you could hear the music where they were getting their photos taken. So if nobody's really going to be dancing, I'm like, well, now's the time to play some of the stuff that they wanted me to play. And you know, you'll have like scant people who are enjoying the music out on the dance floor. Eli and Meg are out getting photos taken, loving the music that I'm playing because they selected it. And then they came back and we had dancing again for the last hour 15. And then we had the uplighting. So Hard Hit Productions is out of Elmira. I've known the guy who owns it, Bruce, for many years. And the father of the bride works for him, so he brought this uplighting to the wedding, which explains why they didn't want the lighting package with me. I get that. I'm not really offended by that. But he brought this uplighting, and I didn't really recognize the brand before. Maybe Rainbow's really good. Maybe it's really cheap. I'm not sure. I'm misinformed. But he brought these 8 uplights in, and they were all different colors during the ceremony, and I talked to him afterwards. I was like, well, this is an interesting choice. What are you doing all this for? Because their colors were, you know, green and that like rust leaf color. And he's like, I don't know how to program the colors. I do, because all of these lights were hex lights, and they had pretty easy to use controls on the back. The up and the down buttons were definitely swapped on some of them, so I think that these may have been cheaper lights. But I was like, I'll program these lights for you, make them all the same color, make them sound active. I didn't have my iPad with me or my Airstream bridge, so I couldn't really do more than that with these lights, especially last minute. But I did what I could and ended up adding to the atmosphere of the dance floor a whole lot, so I'm happy I did it and everyone was thankful for it. But overall, these two had a great time. I thank you so much for watching. A playlist will be at the tail end of this video, including a whole bunch of songs that I definitely do not normally play. Those of you who said that I played a lot of the same stuff at all these weddings, which, you know, the hits are hits for reasons, but there's definitely more of a personalized touch on this one, which I try to do with all my weddings. But I'm Torgo with Torgo Entertainment. We will see you at the next gig. We're going back to the Elmira Country Club next week, and I'll see you there. Take care. We're about to keep things going. Before that, somebody lost their phone inside the ladies' room. I would like to stress that I did not go in the ladies' room to find it. It was handed to me. I'm not feeling that adventurous today, but if somebody lost it in the ladies' room, it's up at the DJ booth.
If it's muted, if you don't turn it on, it's your fault.
I know.
You can't blame Phil for that.